As I enter my senior year at Lewis County High School, there are many things that I will be doing for the very last time. This list includes my last year as a member of the varsity tennis squad. By this time, the football team has completed their season, concluding with a final home game for the Lions at LCHS Stadium. With support from the community and family and friends, they were able to muster the strength and determination to go out and fight like a lion in their final home match on their home turf. Talking with fellow classmates at school, I've learned just how important the local support is to the athletes. I've been told numerous times about how there's just something different playing at home rather than constantly being on the visiting team, which is the exact predicament the tennis team finds itself in and year out. The LCHS tennis team is in dire need of proper facilities in order to have effective practices and to be able to raise sufficient funds to keep needed supplies on hand for the entirety of the season, including tennis balls, uniforms, court maintenance equipment, etc. Without tennis courts, it's difficult to compete at a high level with the rest of the competition, especially when it comes to regional tournament time in early May. On the left, you can see a very nice tennis facility. It has 10 outdoor courts and 3 indoor courts. That is the tennis facility that the Ashland Tomcats use to play their season. On the right is the Lewis County Boat Docks Community Park, which is where the LCHS tennis team was forced to try and practice on broken up concrete, rusty nails. It's just a mess. How are we expected to compete with such a powerhouse? It's not fair. As of May 2015, there are 0 efforts being put forward by school administration, including the Board of Education, to break ground on proper tennis courts needed to host home matches for both men and women's varsity teams. However, due to significant interest in the sport, players have decided to take the initiative upon themselves and seek out any nearby courts. These same courts have been patched numerous times but are not adequately maintained. A new net here and some glue there is the extent of the resources being put forward. These minimal efforts are not even paid for by the school district, rather a small gift from the county. Unfortunately, these courts are not adequate enough to meet the needs of the tennis team. There's only 2 of them, we have to share them with community members, and the condition of the courts is similar to that could be found in a recreation area of a prison or correctional facility. Without the implementation of facilities on school grounds at LCHS, the tennis team is likely to slowly dissolve and no longer exist. Participants to come in the near future may not have the same zealousness as the current team members do to seek out courts and opportunities for themselves. Without a doubt, the greatest positive impact that would come from the construction of tennis courts at LCHS will be the potential means for profit. The opportunities are endless, from the gate money earned via ticket sales to the concession stands and even entry fees to tournaments hosted at home campuses. All could generate a ton of money for the program to help sustain itself for years to come. For example, the Round County Vikings host a tournament in the fall before the season begins in the spring each year. They charge an entry fee ranging from $15 to $25 depending on whether you enter one tournament or the other. They award inexpensive trophies and thus maintain the majority of their money as profits. This raises money for their season as well as allows their players to get additional practice on their home courts. This past year, they raised approximately $1,500 as they had over 60 participants. If we as Lewis County Lions could replicate similar actions, we could raise sufficient funds needed to run our organization the same, with further aid by the district. We just need help with that first step of breaking grounds for courts to be built. In addition to the financial gains that can be made with the erection of tennis courts at LCHS, there's a whole other side to the matter. That is the emotional effects of the individual athletes. Like I mentioned earlier, other athletes have expressed numerous times, to myself as well as others, that the feeling they get playing in front of their home crowd is unexplainable and aids in their ability to push themselves harder and further to win for their community. Being able to have a true senior night, the last home match of the season, is also important as it serves as a tradition in high school sports that athletes remember for the rest of their lives. While the 2 previous paragraphs describe personal benefits of adding tennis courts to the district's athletic facilities, this final supporting idea serves to show that the district as a whole can benefit from its creation as well. This is possible due to the district being able to hold tournaments during the postseason and off-season and bring more people into the community to spend their money there. I can't see how they could continue to shut us down and ignore our pleas. Understandably, the number one counter-argument that is against us is the capital needed up front to get the first stages of the project into motion. However, this is very easily refuted. Tennis courts are able to raise their own money, and through various community events, would bring outside people in and have them spend their money here rather than their own communities. The tennis team is begging simply for the initial investment by the school district to get us on our feet. From there, we can stand on our own. I've also gotten similar answers from school officials in the past when inquired about a possibility of adding courts into the long-term plan for the school district. district as a whole. They say they aren't a priority, and some even said that the cost is not worth the potential benefits for students. I understand that the tennis team does not bring in substantial revenue like basketball or football, but there are still a significant amount of people interested in playing the sport and deserve adequate facilities to chase after their own goals. Legally, according to KHSAA's website, under the bylaws section, if any version of the sport is to be played, the school shall make facilities, staff, and other allowances to properly field a team in the version of the sport for which the NCAA members offer scholarships. This is a direct violation of league bylaws, and the school shall be required to make the necessary changes in order to bring the school up to par. There are a few ways the district could help. These range from building 3 courts on school grounds, paying for the reconstruction of those found at the Mainsburg boat docks, or even footing the bill for the team to travel to local tennis academies or likewise venues in order to practice and have the matches there to complete their season. All 3 cost money, but one needs to be chosen soon by the district to fund courts. I hate to sound repetitive, but this is a simple fact to understand. The tennis team lacks proper facilities in order to compete at a high level like other surrounding schools, and the district needs to take a lead in the funding. I understand that this is a large financial undertaking, and the budget is constrained more now than it ever has been. However, this group of students are passionate about their sport and deserve the same opportunities as others to succeed. The courts will also provide the tennis team with sufficient funds needed to run their day-to-day operations during regular and off-seasons. I hope that you are now able to see that this project is more than just a want by a team unwilling to work for it. The tennis team puts forth efforts every year to raise the funds. Unfortunately, due to being a visitor at every match, all of our profits go down the drain to the bus driver and bus garage to pay for gas, as we have to pay $2 a mile in Lewis County. All in all, as you can see, the cost appears to be minimal, but when stacked against all of the positive benefits that could come from the implementation of tennis courts at Lewis County High School, how can we continue to be denied? Thank you very much.